Good morning, everyone. I'm saying morning because that's what it is here. My name is Laurie. Welcome to Yoga at Laurie's. I'm very excited to announce my live stream class for Vibrant Aging. It's a yin yoga with stretch and move exercises designed for baby boomers like myself and later older Gen Xers. The beauty about the course, doing it at home, is it's going to save you a lot of money. It's probably 25% cheaper than most live stream classes that you'll come across, 50% cheaper than if you did this in a studio with a class. And because it's from my home to your home, you're going to have a lot of extra advantages to that. So this is, especially in this time of the coronavirus, where we've been through so much, we've been in lockdown. I know here in the United States, there's definitely, as we reopen, there's a spiking of cases again. So there's no guarantee, apart from the fact that if you're at home, you'll be able to get access to this course, or if you're traveling on the road. 3 keys to aging vibrantly. And when I say aging vibrantly, I mean aging with energy, with full range of motion, with the ability to prevent pain and injury, to improve stiffness and soreness. The 3 lacks that we tend to have is the lack of being able to listen to your body, getting proper body listening coaching, which I am very well trained in, and will spend every session that we do on that particular skill. The other thing that many people have is is a lack of any experience of extended threshold stretching, where you hold your stretch at maximum stretch for anything up to 5 minutes. And the final piece, which very few people seem to understand, is the relationship between breathing and stretching. I like to call it coherent breathing, and there'll be about probably half a dozen breathing techniques that you will learn during this course that will help you ride the waves. I've broken the course up into 3 phases. Phase number 1, I like to call planting the seeds. I'm going to use the agricultural metaphor here. In phase 1, you'll be mastering body awareness. And again, this is something that we've never been taught. Body awareness. Usually the first awareness we have of the body is when it's in pain. In other words, after the fact. So how do you train yourself to be more sensitive to your own body's needs, your own body's nourishment, etc.? And that is if that's the one thing you learn from this course, you've paid for this course unbelievably by avoiding big medical bills as you age and injure yourself. I also train for people to come into what I call the delicious discomfort range of motion, which will give you the ability to move into extended threshold stretching. With extended threshold stretching, you'll regain your full range of motion. So little things like reaching for things overhead or turning around, these little particular aspects of our body become more and more important as we age and work for our balance. So extended range of motion is going to be really a big gift that you'll give yourself out of this. And range of motion isn't just genetic, right? It's something that we can foster and maintain and cultivate even if we've had a rough life experience. I know many of you have probably been much more athletic when you were younger. So as we age, we need to age with a body awareness and keeping and optimizing that range of motion as long as possible. Now, many of you have grown up probably in the 60s and 70s when the no pain, no gain expression was brought out. And I've met grown men who'd rather bite their own heads off than do a stretch session because they're afraid of the pain. Now, that's a ridiculous notion to bring into stretching. So I'm going to explode the no pain, no gain myth. That's not in my course at all. That's something we don't go into. No pain, no gain is detrimental to your facility for stretching. So this will be a big part of your learning curve. And you'll also learn the 3 parts of stretching: how to come into a stretch, how to stay in the stretch, and then how to come out of the stretch safely. All right. In other words, I want you to fall in love with stretching. All right. Because that, through my own experience as having been a long distance runner for many years, and my body started to get very, very tight, I could efficiently run a few muscles, but a lot of other muscles were starting to be lost in that facility of repetitive thing. So no matter how many times you're walking a day, no matter how far you're walking, you still need to stretch to get full vibrancy, to maintain that body awareness, that openness in the front of the body, and that you'll start to see in phase 2, called the sprouting phase. So it's a whole up-leveling where you learn to master long-held poses and develop what I called coherent breathing, which I already mentioned. Now, coherent breathing will also help you manage pain. So if you are somebody who does have pain, right, coherent breathing will give you another tool for the management of, well, both extreme sensation and pain. And you'll be learning to make the distinction between these 2 things. What's the difference between extreme sensation and pain? There's a borderline that you become more and more sensitized to through the experience. And my experience of this is it's given me, I started this kind of deeper stretching probably about about 14 years ago. All right, and I've developed that. I've become a yoga teacher. I'm a meditation teacher. I'm a life coach. But really, in the last 15 years is where I've really started to see and appreciate as I've aged. I was born in 1955, so there's many things that I've done. I used to be a surfer, a lot of long distance running, was martial artist, but it's coming back to this sustained stretch. And yin yoga, if you're not familiar with yin, yin is used in conjunction with yang or yang. So yin and yang are a philosophical system of the way you see life, as yin is a complement to yang. So night and day are complementary. If we didn't have nighttime, we wouldn't really be able to appreciate the bright sun and the blue sky, right? So yin is considered a type of stretching, a type of yoga that complements the more physical type. So it's not aggressive. One would even call it passive, right? Receptive, surrendered type of yoga, where you're working at a very sensitive level to the stretch. And this is why it's so powerful. And the fact that you get an offer during this course to do it twice a week will show you very quickly how it works, how it complements whatever else you're doing, whether it's heavy lifting, weight lifting, whether you're getting around in need a walker, whatever. You'll find that this will benefit you very, very quickly. And the other thing about the breath work is you'll learn to do what I call riding the waves of sensation. Right? And we're not used to surfing when we feel sensation. We're used to contracting, pulling away from, medicating, covering it up, right? But as we age, the whole point about vibrant aging is you want to stay in touch with what lights your fire. You want to feel vibrant, you want to feel. And this is absolutely important. You don't want your life to taper down into some abstraction of removal from feeling. And breathing also takes you into the field of mindfulness and meditation, which you will taste and be given during this course. So we also see the relationship between the mind and the body, which is absolutely important. Phase 3, harvesting phase, picking the fruit. So it's an integration phase. I'll be targeting different body parts on purpose. I'll be giving specific classes on hips, legs, knees, back, shoulders, chest, elbows, ankles, even the digits, the fingers. These are all joints, right? So again, I want to make the distinction between what I'm doing is, yes, we stretch muscle, but we tend to stretch muscle in a very specific, shorter way, 30-second stretch, right? So 30 seconds is the standard industry for a stretch. But what happens when we come out of a stretch that quickly is we don't give time for us to actually get into the deeper, drier connective tissue of the body, the fascia, the ligaments, the tendons. So all these parts of the body are dry. They don't get much blood flow. So in a normal yoga class, a normal stretch class, you will be able to experience blood flow into the muscle, but you won't give it time to hydrate this deeper connective tissue. So this is the beauty of what we'll be doing. We'll be getting right into the nitty-gritty of the joints. We'll be hydrating the bones. We'll be hydrating the fascia. We'll be giving a sense of lubrication using the synovial fluid of the joints. So this is a really, really cutting edge yoga. This particular yoga, the name was only coined in the 60s, but it comes from a much more ancient tradition of Taoist martial arts. So the Taoist martial arts would use the concept of yin and yang. They would have the aggressive, heated yang type action in their martial art, but they would also have this complementary yin, long-held, cool poses that were really working on the joints of the body. By the end of the course, I would consider you come out with a master's degree on body awareness or a PhD on your own body. Obviously, this isn't a credentialed course, but what I'm saying is you will have so much awareness of your own body that it will empower you to be autonomous should you go to a yoga class in a studio, or should you listen to something on the internet. You will have so much awareness about what you need to do. When the yoga teacher says X, you will do X with a whole new up-leveling of understanding of what that means. In other words, you'll do it safely. You won't be injuring yourself, which is a big aspect. As we age, we injuring ourselves becomes the enemy. It takes away our vibrance. Once we stop using particular muscle groups or compromising those muscle groups because of limitation or injury, this is where the body decay starts. We want to avoid that. We want to, as much as possible, slow that down or even reverse it. Some people, some of my older clients, and I have clients around the 75, 80 years mark, who are experiencing more range of motion than they've had in decades. So that confidence that you'll get to join other classes is absolutely instrumental. So the timing, there's 3 phases that'll cover 10 weeks of classes. There'll be 2 sessions per week, 20 sessions total. And remember, the add-ons you get from this is you'll be learning to work safely with an evolving or aging body, all right? And I know many of us are attached to the way our body would work when we were 20, 30, 40, but now that we're in the 50, 60, 70, 80 year age group, we need to try and keep as many things going as possible safely without the risk of injury. So this is what you're going to learn in this course. You'll also learn the relationship between the breath and the nervous system. I will be teaching you how to help manage, control your nervous system, moving from what we call the sympathetic nervous system, which is this nervous system most of us are in during the day. It's called the state of fight and flight. You've probably heard of that. It's the busy mode. And it's a very important part of the nervous system. Very important. Keeps us going. The trouble is we are locked into it so much that we've forgotten how to access the other nervous system. The nervous system we access in deep sleep, called the parasympathetic nervous system. And that's the nervous system that's completely essential for healing, digestion, rejuvenation, and relaxed focus, for study, for concentration. So when you start to get this power to be able to manage which nervous system you are in, that's going to be tremendously liberating. So during the stretch, while we're doing the stretches, you'll be learning to move into the relaxation response. And this, of course, is taking you into towards a state of meditation and mindfulness. So you'll be learning these skills as well. Not only that, because we're at home, we're not in a studio, because you're in your own home, but it's live streamed. You get the opportunity at the end. I'm going to hold a space open for another 15 minutes if you'd like to ask questions or share experiences. And this can be really, really important if there's something on your mind, something that you're considering and unclear about. All in all, this is a step-by-step roadmap to vibrant and graceful aging. All right. So what does your time and investment look like? Well, to tell you the truth, if I was teaching you personally, privately, one-on-one, you would be paying between $75 and $125 per session. So the whole course would be in the range of $1,500 to $2,500, right? Compared to the $150 outlay. If you were coming to classes with me in a studio, the average yoga studio charges between, I don't know, $12 and $20 these days. So let's say $15 on average. That would be $300, plus you'd have the hassle of having to go to a yoga studio, which many of you don't have that time, or the hassle of, I don't know, being worried about the transmission of disease in this, well, I can't even say post-COVID time, this current COVID time. We still don't know how long this virus will affect the way we live. The best guesstimates are up to 12 months. All right, so you say, well, what if my timing doesn't work with the live stream? I'm going to offer you a 72-hour window in which you can review that class. I'm going to record it, so you have a chance to access the recording in a 72-hour window from the time of the live stream. And that means if you like, if you've already done it with me live, you could go back and review it yourself over that 72-hour window. So that means doing it more times adds more value to the course. A couple of other offers that I've thought about offering here, and I'm promising you, whoever's listening to this, is the fact that if you recommit to repeat this course with me. Now, why would you repeat the course, you might say? Well, because each class is fresh. Each class you see will bring up new material. Each class you do will add to what you already know. And even though I've created the phases 1, 2, and 3, planting, seed, sprouting, and harvest, the thing is you could start anywhere in that course. Let's say you came across this in phase 3, the harvest phase. Don't worry, because everything that I'll be doing in the harvest phase will also be including what we've learned previously. Have you ever had that experience where you've been doing something for years and years and years, and you do it well, and you've learned a lot of experience, a lot of skills from your own experience? Then you come to a master teacher, and he or she says something, and the penny drops, and you go, so it just enriches everything you've been doing and can take it to a completely new level, just from maybe one thing that's said, one thing that you've experienced. I definitely have that, and that's something I always look for in every yoga class I go to. What is this teacher going to say or do that I can take back with me that's going to add and enrich and cultivate what I already do. So if you do repeat this course, which you can do, it would be like going to a regular yoga class after time, I will grandfather the price in. In other words, you will never, ever have to pay any more than what you pay for this course for the rest of your life. Right? So, and the reason I say that is I do believe the course's costs will go up over time. And I do believe this is going to be one of the most popular things that Gen Xers and baby boomers and seniors, I'm a senior. I can't believe it. I feel like I'm still running around in my 20s, but the fact is I'm a senior, and because there's so many of us coming to this stage in our life, I do believe this course is just going to explode. I'm very excited about that. A couple of other offers I'm going to ask you, and you can always contact me, and please do. My details are on the website. Is if you want to join up with a buddy, I have a buddy deal for 2 people, so that's going to bring the price down again. And also, if in this day and time, if you're struggling financially, I offer a scholarship. So, I hope that wasn't too overwhelming. I'm very excited about getting this all going, and I look forward to seeing you on the mat. I've taught probably 30 or 40,000 students over my career as a yoga teacher, and I definitely look forward to meeting you. Please read the rest of the material below the video, but I think I've pretty much covered everything. All right. Namaste. Take care. Look forward to hearing from you. Bye.